Good morning. The title today is Ninth Wave, the Value and Importance of Public Protest. But before I even read the blurb that I wrote, I've been spending more than 20 minutes this morning rebooting my computer, reopening Windows Live Movie Maker. Yesterday I spent probably an hour or more updating all of the drivers on my computer, including Windows Live Movie Maker, getting the latest and greatest drivers. I can open Windows Live Movie Maker on an old video that I produced. The volume is perfect. Right now I'm recording with all of the volume settings maxed out and I can hardly hear it. I have no idea how it's going to turn out, so I'm probably streaming, hoping that I get enough audio into this thing so that you can hear what I have to share, because it's important. Anyway, I don't know why. I mean, I can play one of my video from yesterday, for example, which I had this problem. I think it was yesterday or the day before, where I didn't have any audio, and it took me several attempts to get any audio to come out, any at all. And then it worked. It worked fine. Now it's working, but not fine. As I said, I have the audio settings both on my speakers and in the computer itself maxed to the height. I mean, I don't have any more control on the upper level. And I like to record at half or little bit less than half normally. And when I play the videos, it blasts me out at these settings. It has to be turned down. It's too loud and it distorts. So I don't know what the result is going to be. I may have to record this again, which I don't like to do, but I may have to. Anyway, here's my blurb. And I apologize for even starting with that, but I need to let you know because somebody might be able to give me a clue, and I'm clueless when it comes to these crazy things that the computer seems to have a mind of its own sometimes, and it's being controlled by someone other than me. And I don't care for that at all. It's here to serve me, and I'm here to serve everything in the world. So I don't get it, and I keep harping on it. But anyway, my blurb. For many years, I thought I stood pretty much alone, and what I saw had to be known and done. Yes, knowing alone is not enough. It takes action. Going inside is great, and making it real out there is necessary. Why protest publicly? To show others that feel as you feel that they are not alone. To show others that do not feel as you feel that they had better re-examine their value system. Greed is no longer an acceptable way of life. Fraud is failure. As I gathered with those in Occupy Spaced Coast on Saturday morning, I was talking with a group of people and saying that I've been calling for this, that is, the public protests in the United States, for months now. In fact, I went back this morning before I hadn't realized I was having audio difficulties, and I looked at when I did the video, why isn't it happening here? And it was March the 7th of this year. Anyway, when I made the statement that I had been calling for this for months, one of the ladies piped up, "Ron, you've been calling for this for years." And that's true. That's true, because I have realized that I have been involved in two different camps in my life. One that's the 9/11 truth movement that has not been afraid over the years, although it's actually calmed down in the last few years. But for several years, we got out on the 11th of every month with picket signs and with passing out videos of 9/11 truth, and we were publicly protesting. We were getting some people that were giving us thumbs up and a lot of people that were booing us, but we were taking action. And then I was in my spiritual community where they wanted to keep everything positive, and were scared to death to let themselves be seen publicly. And so I had these two dipolar opposites, both of which I was part of because I realized both were necessary and yet both were separated. They were separated from each other. The people that were publicly protesting didn't have the same spiritual values that I did exactly. And the people that had the similar spiritual values that I did were scared to protest. They were afraid to focus on what was wrong with anything. And I kept saying, you can't just separate it. You can't keep tearing it apart and holding one camp over here and one camp over here. Because the camps have to come together if we're ever going to correct the situation. We're not going to create a positive world by avoiding the negative. Neither are we going to create a positive world by only focusing on the public protest and the political aspect. The political and the spiritual have to be brought together. I've been saying that forever. I mean, for years and years and years, Bonnie was right. For years, I have been preaching that. It's alienated me from both sides often because they can't get the other part. And we can't run on half with an airplane with one wing, as Dennis Kucinich pointed out when he selected Ron Paul, when he said he would select Ron Paul as his running mate if he was the Democratic nominee in 2008. These are things that are important, and we need to bring the peaceful inner self that we can find when we go into meditation. Now, I probably spend more time, more quiet time, than 99% of the world's population at least. I go inside a lot and get my messages and observe and do the inner work. I've been doing that for a long time. But I know that that's not enough. I can't go into a cave and up on a mountain and meditate the changes that are necessary in the world. That just doesn't work that way. It's faith plus feeling plus action produces a result. But you need the faith, you need the internal stuff, you need the feeling. You have to put your emotion behind it and then create the action from the emotion based on what's inside. That's the process. That's the process in this current level of our reality and our experience. We need to combine these things one and another. That's why public protest is important. Do you realize that when you're protesting, I realize, hey, look at these people that are here on Saturday morning. Look at these people. You couldn't have gotten them here 6 months ago. There was no way in hell you would have gotten some of these people to go and carry picket signs and march for something, and from their perspective, they want to keep it positive, so they're doing it for. They don't realize that in a dualistic world, in a polarized world, whenever you're for something, you're also against something else. That's how it is. That's the reality. So if you're for peace, you are against war. Mother Teresa says, I won't march against war, but I'll march for peace. Well, they are the same thing. When are we going to understand that in our world, they are the same thing? The inner is the outer, and the outer is the inner. But until we've made the conscious connection between the two, it doesn't work, does it? It doesn't work if you're just in the positive mental attitude. It doesn't change the world at all. You still have to deal with the BS in the world that still exists and still goes on and on and on because you haven't put the necessary action into it. That's why public protest is so important, because it's making a statement. It's saying, I really care about these things. These are issues that are important to me. These are issues that mean something in my life and in my world. And I don't want a world that has these negatives and is run by people that are greedy and run by people that commit fraud and don't tell the truth, that spin everything into a lie. And that's our media. That's our politicians. That's our corporations. That's our banks. That's the world that we live in. We have to say enough. It's important to say enough. But it's also important, the other side is also important, that when we're doing this and saying no more, that we go inside and we have to find in ourselves, how have I been contributing to the situation that exists in the world? How have I been playing a role in what I see out there? I'm not able to divorce myself from what's going on in my world because I'm part of it. I'm part of it and I need to take responsibility for it. I've been trying to get these two parts together for a long time for people. And I've been a coward a lot of the times, and even though I've spoken up in small groups, I've not been able to do it publicly because I wanted people to stand with me. That's why I love the 9/11 Truth Movement. At least there were 12 or 15 or 20 people sometimes standing with me on those 11th of the month events. There were people there. I wasn't connecting with them on the spiritual level, but at least they were doing something. At least they were saying, pay attention, folks. Pay attention. We're being lied to. And then I'd go to speak in public places, in churches and stuff like that. And sometimes even in my own spiritual community, I was being told, well, you're not allowed to say anything political. You got to watch what you say. They would automatically put a gatekeeper in my mind and try to get me to shut up, just like my computer's doing this morning and did yesterday or whatever other day it was. It doesn't want the message out. So it's trying to tone down the volume. What's it saying to me? What's it saying to me? How am I creating it? How am I responsible for this? It doesn't make sense to me, to Ron. But I know it's important that we bring both parts together. It's extremely important. This is a value, that we integrate our opposites, that we connect the poles within ourselves and allow the opposites to attract so that nothing is being repelled. Everything is being drawn in and transformed. That's how it works, as I've been seeing it for a long time. You don't transform anything by elimination. You transform it by inclusion. Include the negative. Or, if that's what you're already including, include the positive. Bring the opposites together within yourself so that you can be whole. So that you can have a life that's fulfilled. My life is finally, in 2011, becoming fulfilled. Somehow, I've been able this year to bring the opposites together within me, to be able to speak peacefully sometimes, and passionately at other times. And they're both me. They're both me. They're who I am. I am all extreme, all possibilities. And so are you. And these are the things that we need to grasp. We are the victims and the victimizers. Can we bring them together at the peace table of our heart and make peace? If we don't, we're going to keep on creating the world that we've been living in. It's going to keep going the way that it's been going. Is that what we want? Or are we willing to bring our own opposites to the peace table of our own heart and bring reconciliation within our own being? When that happens, there's nothing that can stop the changes in the world. It's inevitable. Nothing that can stop it. The powers that be will be the powers that were. What are the powers that have been? They have been the powers of a dichotomy. They have been the powers of separation. And that's the world we've been creating. And every one of us is responsible for that world, because every one of us, me included, has played a role. We've all done it. Are we willing now to make peace? I hope so. I leave you with these thoughts and hope the audio